Hi, this is the manager's desk. My name is Evan Baltz. Welcome. I'm a marketing technology leader and a team builder. Today, we're going to do something just a little bit different. I appreciate a good sense of humor, especially sarcasm. As people who've worked with me probably know that all too well. So, today, the tips that I'm going to share with you, I'm calling 10 steps to becoming a bad manager. Yep, you read that right. I'm going to tell you the steps that you can take to be a bad manager. A number of years ago, I was fortunate enough to work for a very large retail company, and I had a great manager, in fact, the best manager I've ever had for about a year. But then, as organizations do, there was a bit of a reorg, and I got placed under another manager. And this person became the worst manager I've ever had. And I learned a lot about managing personalities and people from that dramatic shift from a great manager to a really bad manager. Those lessons I'd like to share with you. Through the pain of that experience, it brought me to a deeper understanding of what truly makes a bad manager, solidified in my mind those things that I never wanted to become. And that's something that I thought about a lot and think about every day, in fact. Thus, I share with you 10 steps to becoming a bad manager. Number one, take all the credit and none of the blame. Let's face it, you're a manager, so you're more important than your employees. Since you usually don't actually do the work, it's important you take credit for other team members' work. Let's say one of your employees is a web programmer. Make sure that everyone knows that they couldn't program without your direction, especially in meetings with senior leaders. Use I and even we statements when talking about successes. And on the flip side, as soon as something goes wrong, page broke, form validation didn't account for someone who lives in Guam, the typical things. Well, those things are clearly the fault of your team and not your responsibility. Make sure everyone knows that there's someone else to blame. Number two, talk down to your employees. It's hard to even articulate specifically, but employees know it when they hear it. It's not just the words you use, it's the tone and body language, passive aggressive communication style that will really be effective. People in government and politics are really good at this. Also, treating people like they are kindergartners who are about to have their lunch milk taken away from them for talking during show and play is also a good technique. But you must be consistent for this to be an effective model. Be sure to use a condescending tone and overstate the obvious. Practice using phrases like, now we all need to be sure that we're paying attention during meetings. Consistency is the key. You're their boss, so act like it. Number three, punish and stifle honest conversations and feedback. As a bad manager, you probably won't even ask for your employees' opinions, but if you do, be sure to use whatever they say against them later. In fact, be sure to write it down. Bring back what they said against them later and tell them with great displeasure that they said something you didn't like. In fact, send them an email and CC HR. That will even reinforce the point. Even better would be to surprise them with it in a one-on-one and have an HR person show up just to double down on your distaste for them speaking their minds. Use statements like, you need to stop being so negative, and leadership knows what's best, doesn't need to consult with you. This will ensure that they will never speak up again. Number four, demand your employees put your needs above theirs. Clearly, you're more important than your employees. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a more lofty title. Your needs should always come first. Don't spend time coaching your employees when you could be promoting yourself to executive leaders. Only make friends with those who will ensure that your team understands their main job is to support you and to lift you up in your career aspirations. If a team member threatens to quit, be sure they know how easy it will be to replace them with someone less experienced that won't cost the company so much money. If they quit, they quit. If you have a scheduled vacation, make sure none of your employees can take any time off during yours. Number 5, be stingy with time off. Your employees owe you their every waking minute. So it's important to remind them of this fact as often as possible. Insist that they take time off of work because it's more important than their families. Be sure to demand that vacation requests come in years in advance so important projects don't have to be interrupted by their inconvenient and selfish requests. Never let 2 employees take the same day of the week off. If at all possible, even while they are out, be sure to send them multiple emails and texts with urgent requests. Let's face it, the work doesn't stop because they need to go to the doctor. Make it clear to each employee that as a manager, you have the right to override all of the company policies because things need to get done. Remind them that each and every project is a top priority and we can't afford anyone taking time off. Number 6, berate or embarrass employees in front of team members. How will your team members learn or know who's boss if you don't put them down in front of other teammates? If there's even the slightest problem with anyone's work, make sure to bring it up in team meetings so as to send a message to everyone that failure to be perfect will be openly punished. A little fear never hurt anyone. It can also be effective to badmouth one employee to other employees behind their back, especially. Also, make sure everyone understands this will go on your annual review. Nothing says I'm in charge like public humiliation. Number 7, gaslight employees about their work. It's vitally important to make sure employees never feel good about their work. There's always room for improvement. So no matter how well they do, tell them that it's substandard and demand more. Demonstrate how much more committed and hardworking you are by sending them emails at 11 o'clock at night. Follow it up with a text message as well. Tell them that you're trying to be patient with them, but need those numbers before midnight. Also, be sure to compare the quality of their work with others. This will always have them worried that they'll be passed over for a promotion, which is always a good motivational tactic. Number 8, use employee reviews as a method of punishment. It's very important to take notes about every failure your employee has during the year. Do not mention to them at the time because that may undermine your talking points during your annual review. Articulate the specifics of each incident and how they failed. Shake your head in disapproval so they know they have not performed well. This will justify your ability to save the company money by withholding raises, bonuses, promotions. This means more money for you and for senior leaders. It's a win-win. It's also important to make clear to the employee that nobody gets a 5. And only my favorite employees who take the time to make me look good can even hope for a 4. Now, the best you will receive is a 3, but most likely a 2, since there's always room to improve. This also signals senior leadership that you know how to motivate your employees. Number 9, micromanage. This is especially important when you have been tasked by senior leadership to downsize your department. It's far easier to push someone to quit through endless micromanagement than actually having to fire them. Saves the company money too. You'll surely be rewarded for this. So this is an area and a skill to really focus on. It's pretty easy to do as well. Ask employees questions about every single thing they intend to do and every aspect of the project. Let them know you expect them to present you a written and detailed plan, as well as daily thorough updates. Insist that those be done after hours because 8 to 5 is for doing the actual work. These should not be, and I can't stress this enough, these should not be short bulleted points. These need to be full on presentations, preferably in PowerPoint. Be very specific about expected formatting, font size, and colors. Check in on employees' whereabouts throughout the day, ensuring they are constantly working. Send Slack and text messages and hound them if they don't respond immediately. Scheduling daily meetings is key as well. And number 10, create emergencies. Nothing will ensure your employees respect you more than constantly manufacturing emergencies or urgent situations. Don't ever let a good crisis go to waste. If even one lead is lost, demand an urgent all hands meeting. Call the entire team and keep them on the line and keep the line open for as long as it takes to resolve. These types of events should happen almost every day to be most effective. No issue is too small not to exploit it for your own benefit, and showing senior leadership how engaged you are. The more emergencies you create, the more opportunities you'll have to demonstrate what a great in-crisis manager you are. Do not let your employees create plans or SOPs for these events because that will rob you of opportunities to shine. There it is. There you have it. 10 sure steps to make you a bad manager. If you can successfully follow these tips, you too can achieve this status. Now that you know what it takes to be a bad manager, maybe it will help you understand what kind of a manager you want to be. Thoughts? Too harsh? Perhaps you have some of your own tips, your own experiences. Maybe I missed a few along the way. Please share them in the comments. Would love to hear from you. All of these podcasts are available on Spotify. They're also available on Amazon Music and iHeartRadio. We'll see you next time.